was doing some prep for a match day 34 video on Frankfurt, who are basically in a straight shootout with Freiburg for the Champions League spot, when a news article popped out and really grabbed my attention. And it was about this young Swedish midfielder, Hugo LARSSON. Hugo LARSSON plays normally alongside Mad Mario Götze for the Eagles, for DIE ADLER, for Frankfurt, for SGE. When this popped out, the transfer race for Hugo LARSSON's services is expected to heat up in the upcoming summer transfer window. Right, I had no idea that he was a wanted man. The midfielder has cut the eye of some of Europe's top outfits, including the likes of Real Madrid, Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, and of course Spurs. Not to be outdone, Spurs. Okay, I mean, I've enjoyed watching him play as it transpires because of Frankfurt's commitments up until recently in the Europa League. A lot of their games, the domestic Bundesliga games, were on a Sunday because, of course, they were playing on a Thursday evening in the Europa League. So Sunday, on a weekend, there's usually 3 games. They're back-to-back. We get our feeds of the Bundesliga in the UK courtesy of Sky Sports. So it's just like, right, pick the channel from the guide, stick it on, get some drinks, get some snacks, sit back and watch it. And usually Frankfurt, either the penultimate or the last game of the day. Anyway, so I've been watching this guy a lot. Really impressed. Really, really impressed. He's only 20 years of age. Look at that, born in 2004. What were you doing in 2004? I can tell you what I was doing. I was squandering my life away in Leeds. Well, I was just starting out a career in video games. Anyway, so he's actually a Swedish international. If we scroll down here, we're reliant as ever, but we enjoy using transfermarket.com. Look at that. He's played for every major year group for Sweden. Under 17s, under 18s, under 19s, under 21s, and then for the national team, he's played 8 times, which is brilliant. He was acquired by... Oh, I've jumped a screen. We can go back. It's easy enough. He was acquired from Malmö. Malmö, I don't know if you've ever been there. It's a beautiful city right on the tip, or the southern tip of Sweden. It's beautiful. Yeah, they have a spinnaker. And yeah, it's a great vibes. Anyway, he was acquired from Malmö, club where Zlatan, the one and only, used to play his football, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So he played for Malmö. He got transferred to Frankfurt. That was only €9 million. And over the course of the last few seasons, because of course that was in 23/24, he's gone on to play 84 times. 84 times across all competitions. That being the domestic Bundesliga, the DFB Pokal, and the Europa League. There you go, there's confirmation of that. Of course, that's going back to front. That's fascinating. Usually it goes the other way around. Of which he's scored 8 times and is responsible for 4 assists, right? So that's impressive, right? You know, 84 games, 8 personal goals and 4 assists. So what's that? It's 12 goal involvements. Okay, so that's Hugo LARSSON. He's probably learning so much from playing alongside Mario Götze and Elis Skiri, the Tunisian. Just a further breakdown of what he's achieved by looking on whoscored.com. Look at that, see? So 3 goals in the Europa League. Along with, this is this season, by the way. So this season, 3 goals, 1 assist, 3 goals in the Europa League. So 6 goals in total, 1 assist. And this is his averages per match. So he's technically is a defensive midfielder, yeah. So he's averaging in the Bundesliga 1.5 tackles, 0.9 interceptions, 0.9 clearances, 0.3 blocks per game. And then when it comes to his offensive play, 0.7 key passes, 0.4 dribbles, and he's got a pass completion rate in the 88.1%, and he's averaging, like we said, 0.7 key passes per game. And all that has contributed this current third place position for Frankfurt in the Bundesliga this season so far. To be fair, they're in a straight shootout, I should say, with Freiburg. However, even a draw against Freiburg would put them another 2 points out of reach. So a draw and or a win would be even better. They've got a way far. A bit more than a wafer, isn't it? I'd say that's more of a whole burger. No wafer thin burger. What am I trying to go on about? Patrick Berger. Did he play for Liverpool? Let's get this back on track, shall we? There is a far superior goal difference for Frankfurt ahead of Freiburg, so a draw or a win would guarantee that. I mean, they're already there, right? But I mean, it would guarantee whether they finish in third or fourth. I suppose technically they could they could drop as far as fifth and miss out altogether if Niko Kovac's Dortmund pull off a win and score lots of goals. We can't see that happening. Anyway, it's Champions League football next season, which is fantastic. So let me come back to these news transfer rumours. Florian Plettenberg, yeah, we can. He's a Sky reporter, covers transfers, he covers Munich. Let's trust him, because I know that Liam from the Bayern View does. So look at this. Manchester City have entered the race for Hugo LARSSON. The 20-year-old midfielder is keen to move. Frankfurt have been told, at least. Apparently, first initial talks have taken place. The boss of the club at Frankfurt, which is Markus Krösche, he's demanding at least €60 million. Larsson's under contract, though, for another 4 years until 2029. And here we go. Look, here's all their names again. There's the roll call from the Premier League. Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, along with Manchester City. And some other Bundesliga clubs are interested in snapping up the ginger flame-haired wonder in midfield that is Hugo LARSSON. Now, this is from Joe Nuttall of Football Fancast. So he points out that Manchester City are looking to add a new midfielder to their squad. This was back in January, but they picked up Nico Gonzalez from FC Porto. That was for 55 million euro. Of course, Pepe Reinders, or Tijani, let's call him Pepe Reinders, it's easier. Pepe Reinders is on the shortlist for Pep Guardiola. That's along with Hugo LARSSON. Look, the young Swede star has 6 goals and 1 assist for the club. That's this season. Both players will reportedly cost the same price. I should point out that Pepe Reinders is currently playing for AC Milan, or Milan, I guess, not to offend any of our Italian viewers. Reinders is perhaps the better option. This is according to this Joe lad. Not only is he more experienced, but he offers more of a goal threat and lots of creativity in the final third. Let me come down here, and then Joe is referring to another great resource that we use, FB Ref. We look at the numbers over 90-minute games. Reinders averaging 6.4 progressive passes, 3.3 progressive carries, whereas LARSSON's is 4.89 and 0.65 respectively. Both players cost the same amount. There's not much difference, to be honest, although it feels like at just 20 years of age, he's got much more time to develop. And then Liverpool, they're getting stuck in. Liverpool battle, this is One Football, again, a great streaming source. Feel free to sponsor me in future. Liverpool battling out with Manchester City for €60 million rated midfielder. That's in parallel, apparently, with conversations around Florian Wirtz, which we're not going to go into today. But as it happens, and we're recording this on the 14th of May, Florian Wirtz was in the UK. He was visiting representatives from Manchester City, but apparently not Pep Guardiola, and also spent time with Liverpool. Back to the interest from Liverpool, though, from the Reds. They know that Manchester City signed Marmoush, who of course is LARSSON's former teammate. That was for €64 million. That was back in January. And to be fair, DIE ADLER suffered. Yes, they did reinvest that money in Eliwahi and Michi Batshuayi, or Bichi Batshu as we call him. It's not really paid off. That said, Frankfurt is still in third, so imagine where they would be if they'd not sold Omar Mamouche, who had an incredible goal involvement ratio. Just look at this, by the way. Right, so this is in the Bundesliga. So obviously Harry Kane's up front. Marmoush only played 17 times in this current season. 24 goal involvements. He scored 15 himself, right? Along with 9 assists. So he's obviously sorely missed for Frankfurt, but like I say, they're still in third place. Back to this article though. Yes, Rodri. I'm getting confused now between. Well, anyway, both Liverpool and Manchester City are going side by side to try and acquire the signature of Hugo Larsson. Sport Build points out that Frankfurt have put a €60 million price tag on his head. That's fine. I don't think either team are going to blink, really. Frankfurt would ideally look to keep hold of the talented Swede, but like any Bundesliga club, right, they would find it difficult to turn down that much money because they could reinvest it, which a lot of these clubs in the Bundesliga, and to be fair, a lot of Premier League clubs do the same, right? Actually, a lot of clubs throughout Europe and the world do the same. That's kind of Football Manager in a nutshell, right? That's the epitome of a career save, that you scour the world with all your scouts, you pick the best and brightest wonder kids, you train them up, you develop them, you sell them on, you pocket the profit, and it's just rinse repeat. That's what football clubs do in real life. That's what Frankfurt has done, picking up a guy from Malmo, right? So it happens in real life. There you go. There's art imitating life and vice versa. Back to Manchester City. Look, they want to. It was rumoured that Gundogan was going to go. Same with Mateo Kovacic. However, those two players might both end up staying. The bottom line is Guardiola at Manchester City is in a rebuild phase, right? Because the only piece of silverware he can potentially pick up this season is an FA Cup. They're in the FA Cup final, Manchester City, that is, against Crystal Palace deep into May. Premier League's gone. That went a while back. That was already won by Liverpool. So again, this is a Liverpool team that are being shrewd. They've won the Premier League at a canter, and now they're looking, Arne Slot, very clever, which is what Jurgen Klopp did before and other managers have done in the past. You go, right, we won the league with that squad. How can we make it better? You've always got to be striving to become better. I did the same on this channel. How can I become better? Well, you invest in better equipment, you upskill what you've got, you learn different techniques, you buy 2 monitors to increase your production process, right? So all the time, how can we do better? That's exactly what Liverpool and Manchester City are looking to do. Liverpool, here we are. Look, this is, again, One Football. Liverpool make approach for Frankfurt's Hugo Larsson as a reinforcement for their title-winning season. Where did I see? Yeah, look, this was back in November. Liverpool had a serious interest. That was at that point in the season. The title was still up for grabs between Arsenal and Liverpool. Even Chelsea were competing back then. Liverpool have since, this is according to Bild, again, trusted, reliable behemoth of an outlet for, well, all news, especially sports news, football news. Liverpool have made inquiries with Hugo Larsson's representatives. They want to make it more concrete. No formal offer made. However, and I'm sort of jumping around, but here you go. Look, Liverpool were linked with Omar Mamouche but didn't get him. But now it's very clear that the young, physically adept, technically sound player that is Hugo Larsson ticks several boxes for Liverpool. And then this was, when was this? This was May the 11th, so this was earlier this week. Look, Liverpool have made contact with Hugo Lagersson? Lagerbäck. He used to be the manager, didn't he, of Sweden? Lars Lagerbäck. There was a double act. Don't get many of them, do you? You don't get many of them in football full stop, let alone in international football. If you can remember the name of the other guy that was in charge of Sweden along with Lars Lagerbäck, let me know in the comment section down below. So this could be a swapperoo, couldn't it? It could be a swap. Frankfurt want to sign midfielder Wataru Endo, a Japanese midfielder from Liverpool. Liverpool want Larsson, so there's a potential swapperoo on the cards. And of course, we always have to bring in Arsenal, as Gonzo pokes me in the back. Arsenal want to pay €60 million. Well, I don't think they want to pay that, but they want to bring him into the club. Yeah, look, Frankfurt have built a talented squad that is absolutely spot on. One of the standouts is Hugo Larsson. He's made a strong impression in his first campaign. It's not gone unnoticed to Arsenal or to Mikel Arteta. Frankfurt want €60 million. Arsenal looking to strengthen their squad. There's uncertainty around players like Thomas Partey and JORGINHO. This is the main point, right? So Arsenal very. Oh, can we? Yeah. Arsenal very similar to Manchester City, looking to go for a rebuild in their midfield. And with Thomas Partey and Jorginho, well, Jorginho is going to go on a free. That's to Flamengo in Brazil. Thomas Partey will go somewhere. Maybe he'll go to Italy. So, yeah, Larsson would be ideal. And again, this is backed up by footballtalk.co.uk. Arsenal interested in signing on Eintracht. It's very Scouse, so maybe all those... That sort of phonetic cue indicates that he is going to Liverpool. According to Sport Build, Arsenal are interested in Hugo LARSSON. They need to make multiple signings. Stop putting me in the back. You're right, Gonzo, they do. And if they can't get Martin Zubimendi, well, then Hugo LARSSON would be perfect, right? Because we need someone in that midfield to take the pressure off Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard. They point out the same stats, really, as the other article, that Larsson's got an 88% pass completion record, 3.6 recoveries and 1.4 tackles per game. So imagine that, Larsson being able to nick in, win the ball, lay it off to Odegaard, we start an attack. Potentially, we get the ball up as high as we can, as fast as we can, to the likes of Victor Gyökeres or maybe Benjamin Sesko. We'll wait and see. Anyway, this is all just conjecture and transfer talk at the minute. And of course Spurs, you might have seen them in a previous article that we pointed out. This was as far back as, this was April. This was just before Easter. Apparently Tottenham have been tracking Larsson for a while. They were hoping to sign him in the summer. They would have seen a lot of him, twice in the Europa League. And actually, Frankfurt did... Sorry, I forgot to put that on the screen. There you go. Tottenham have been chasing Hugo LARSSON. Apparently that's been happening for quite a while. And the point I was trying to make was that Frankfurt came up against Spurs, Tottenham, in the Europa League this season and in the Champions League. I believe that was in the 23 season in the Champions League group. Yeah, which I'm sure they drew and Tottenham beat Frankfurt in that. Either way, but so they're familiar with him. Although Hugo LARSSON wouldn't have been there on the first time round, would he? Well, he might not have been, but they've been watching him because they've got scouts and the scouts are everywhere. This is the point about what Spurs would do with him. They'd use him in a more creativity licensed role in the middle of the park. He'd be an ideal acquisition. He's got the technical attributes to operate as an attacking midfielder as well. He will control the tempo of the game, create opportunities in the final third with his passing, vision and technical ability. There you go. We're looking at the goal involvements. He won't appear on here really because that's not really his game. But again, just drink that in. Omar Mamouche. In just 17 games, 24 goal involvements. So the question is then, where is this young man going to end up? Will it be Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Real Madrid? Not seeing too much on that one, but then again, Xabi Alonso's going there, and Xabi Alonso will know all about him because, of course, he'll have come up against him for the last couple of seasons as coach or former coach of Bayer Leverkusen. So there you go. The flame-haired wonder that is Hugo LARSSON. Where's he going to end up? You know the drill. Let us know in the comment section down below. It'd be great to see him at Arsenal. Part of me just wants him to stay in the Bundesliga because it's great. It's great for content. Anyway, where do you think he's going to go? Let us know in the content down below. Feel free, if you could, to give this video a like. Even subscribe. By all means, tell your friends, tell your schoolmates, tell your workmates, tell your familia, tell everybody, right? Tell people how you queuing up to buy some groceries on a shop. You might be buying some football stickers. You might be buying a coffee. You might be buying a can of pop. Whatever. Please help us spread the word. I'm doing it full time. I care about this. I'm passionate. I'm as passionate about football and the Bundesliga as what you are. Do what you can to help me out, eh? Please. Anyway, we're done for now. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao, ciao.